at the very bottom of the chute, right where it meets back up with the fire road, the road splits into two directions. You'll see it going on the left and going on the right. They're both fire road. They both go about 100 yards and then meet up at what we call the punch bowl. And from there, it's very important which direction you choose. It goes left and it goes right. And depending on which direction you take will determine how the rest of your day goes. The fire road right before the punch bowl, and you'll know when you're at the punch bowl, goes left. Stay to the left, flat and easy. The offshoot, one of the longer offshoots, is kind of straight to the right, basically straight ahead. And the problem with this particular offshoot is you can't really see ahead to see if you like it or not. So if you go straight, once you hit those first rocks, it's difficult to back out. You could back out, but if you go over those rocks, there's no backing out. And it's a half a mile or a mile of downhill, off camber, difficult sections. Okay, back on the road, right after the chute, just past the punch bowl. We're going straight ahead to the next difficult section. A couple of rock drop-offs, some steep downhill, some rutty areas. Beautiful view of the lake. First bumpy spot, rocky, just kind of go right down the middle. Get a little tippy there. Hear the Jeep groaning and cracking, popping. This whole section, maybe a mile long before it reaches the road, maybe a half mile. Downhill, coming down the other side of the mountain now. Not too bad after that first rocky area. And we're at another steep, rutted section, not very long. Actually not too bad. Okay, now we're at a steep, more steep, more rutted section. Almost like the chute, not quite as steep and narrow. You can see how close that wall is to the front. And my bumper is just inches from that wall. Probably should have folded in my mirror, but I didn't touch it. And more very rutted sections. This is a little more rutted after the rains than usual. Gotta get out and take a look at this. Yeah, a little bit rutted here. More rutted than usual from the rain. That's deep ruts. A little bit easier on the right side if you can get over to it. Almost flat going down the right side. Rocky and rutty on the left side. A lot tougher coming up.
Oh yeah.
It looked like it now. I came down as I was coming up the other side. It was so steep. I think the hardest part of this spot is getting in and out of the Jeep. Got my my door tilted right into the ground. The right side of this is a lot flatter and easier, but I was kind of already committed. And it's more exciting this way. More flexy. Hear those springs popping. Oop, got a little air there. Piece of cake. 50 yards up, another section just like it. We're still just maybe a mile from the bottom of the chute. If you're coming up the other direction, this is definitely more challenging to get up than it is to go down. All that squeaking and popping you hear is the Jeep flexing and twisting. You probably can't tell from the video, but it is rutted where those sections are. And I can't see the guy behind me in my rearview mirror, so I want to make sure he's moving along okay. And we're meeting back up with the fire road coming in from my left. The road splits in front of me, right and straight. It's just 100 yards long, meets right up ahead, so it doesn't matter which way you go at that point. We go about 100 yards where those two splits meet back up. Fire road stays to the right. We are going to go to the left, up the next offshoot, which is a couple hundred yards long, up a little steep, a little rutted, a little off camber. Not too bad, not as bad as half the stuff we've been through already today. And after riding that ridge for several hundred yards, we come to another really rutted spot. Really rutted to the left. I'm probably going to take it a little bit to the right. I think that's probably what most people do. This is real slippery and off camber when it's muddy. Oops, slippery now even. So you got to go nice and easy. A little bit too much to the. Ooh. Little sideways more than I like. I know it doesn't show on the camera, but I'm sideways. Stay more to the right than I am. I thought I was going to flop there.
We're sliding, which was a good thing.
Yeah, that coming down is a little slippery, so just go nice and slow and you're going to slide.
What's wrong with the left side?
It's more rutted and it leaves you in a rut, but you can look at it. Alright, so I don't want to slide again. This time I'm going to stay on that notch or in that rut, kind of straddle it, so I don't have to worry about sliding into it. That's much easier. This is another off camber, rutted, tough area.
I think I gave it too much gas when I went high passenger.
It's a little wet still today, so it's slick. That makes it a bit more slidey coming down. Definitely, woo, definitely tougher going up than coming down.
Well, I stayed to the left, and I'll tell you, for me, I think the tugger factor was way
said, you saw me go high right, you know, and I thought I'd just go ahead and do the off camber, and then all of a sudden I felt like I started to slide into to the left, to the driver's side.
As you can hear,
I'll review my dash cam video, but it did look to me like you were sliding just a little bit.
this is wet, it is slippery. And when you're off camber and it's slipping, you just kind of slide wherever it decides you're going to go.
Well, you don't want to take the beginners down this one.
When you see the red mud that you'll be coming up to soon, that's all slippery. So go slow and try to keep it level.
Okay.
Copy that.
Of course, you're sinking in it.
All right, we're back on the fire road now. We're at the next little fun spot. This goes up to what we call the baby chute, which once we go up and come back down on the other side, there is another steep, not too steep, but off camber narrow section, a lot like the chute, but not quite as bad. Another uphill, slightly off camber. Come over this ridge. And we get to what we call the baby chute. Downhill, steep, very rutted. I like to ride the center of the ruts just so I don't put my tire in them. I try to keep them down the middle of the Jeep. We're going to get some air anyway. And then as we get further down, we're going to pitch into the wall a little. Just go nice and slow, stay up against the wall. Oh, slipped off the wall. It's not as bad as it used to be. I don't know if you can hear my tires slipping off the wall and falling into the rut, bringing me real close to the wall. And every time you hear that popping, that's the Jeep twisting and groaning and flexing. Now at the bottom of this, what we call the baby chute, we're coming up on what used to be the path or the trail over to Pucker Hill. We used to be able to go left right here, went half a mile or so, I don't recall exactly how far, and Pucker Hill would be on your right, and then we had the steep curve bypass around it. That's all now closed. You can see there's steel posts up there, big boulders. It's my understanding that that section is closed permanently for safety because Pucker Hill is quite puckery. Back on the fire road. Another beautiful view of the lake. There's a spot up here. You can pull off to the side, get great pictures. Got two behind me. Another Razor we just passed. Yeah, the road's pretty rutted out here. This is the fire road. Yeah, I don't think I'd try bringing my streetcar up here. You used to be able to get through here no problem, but since the rains, it's pretty bad. So I'm no longer saying you can. I'm no longer saying you can bring a streetcar through the fire road anymore, at least until they grade it. They graded it at the beginning of 2016. I don't know if they do it every year. I'm sure they do because it's a Forestry Service road and they need to keep it open for fire access. But for now, February 2016, you have a rough time getting a streetcar through here. So We are about 3/4 the way through the trail. We're still on the fire road, coming up to where Pucker Hill used to meet back up with the fire road. It's right around the corner to the left here. It's now gated and fenced off. Or no gate, just fencing. That's it right on my left. And as we come around here, you'll see where the road...
See one patch of snow all day.
You'll see where the road splits. Fire road to the left. A little bit more difficult section straight ahead, but it meets back up with the road in just a couple hundred yards. We just passed over the Pacific Crest Trail, and we're going up this little hill. This first one isn't bad, this first section. Like I said, it meets back up with the fire road after a few hundred yards. Got more motorcycles coming down, past the Razor earlier. It's a Thursday and there's still lots of traffic up here. All right, back on the fire road. Fire road goes again off to the left. Offshoot. This is a longer one. Straight ahead to the rightish. This one is rutted, a little bit steep in a few spots. We'll see how the rain has affected it. Yep, it's still rutted. Bit of a blind turn, but it's nice and easy to the right. Come over the top, you see the road again. Oh no, mud. Got the fire road is about 40 yards down below us on my left. We're still on that offshoot. And just as we meet back up with the fire road, you can see that hill on the right, or kind of straight ahead. That's one of the more longer, taller, steeper, rockier, intimidating hills on the whole trail. Fire road, we're meeting back up with the fire road on the left. It continues to the left. This tougher spot continues up. You can see it splits up there. There's a slightly easier way on the right and a more difficult spot up on the left. You can't see it yet. That's tough when it's wet and slick. A locker helps, but is not required. Looks a lot worse than it is, but definitely one of the more challenging spots on the whole trail. Dave has volunteered to go ahead of me, just so I can get some cool dash cam video without me having to get out of the Jeep. Remember that Dave is in a stick shift. Dave does not have lockers. Dave has got 321 gears, which means It's going to take him some skill. It's not impossible, but when he gets up to the rougher spot, it's going to be a challenge. This is where it starts getting rocky, but not too bad. You've got a decision up here. Dave's not quite there yet to go left or right.
So what, the left-hand side here, or what?
Yeah, either right over the rocks or up hugging the left, either way.
Yeah, I'm trying the left here.
But if you go totally right, that's the easier line. Uh-oh.
Stalled it.
Oh, he stalled it. That's where he's going to wish he had those 456 gears that he says he's getting soon. Of course, the Nada Rubicon has got 488 gears and a 4-to-1 transfer case. That's the other thing.
I think that was the worst part of the years when I was going to the right.
Nada Rubicon also has the 410 transfer case, which he does not have. So he's got quite the challenge to get up that. Nada Rubicon crawls up quite handily so far. I put on the rear locker just because I'm a sissy. Dave doesn't have such a advantage, and he stopped, probably stalled it. All right, hold right there, Mark, in case we need to back up. Yeah, he's in that rut.
Back up just a second and take another run for this.
Well, he made it. We had to stack some rocks and build a road, but not bad for 321 gears and no lockers. Was there a bump there? And right at the top of that hill is a downhill. That's a little bit rutted. You'll see Mark getting a little flexy there. At the bottom of this hill, we get back to the fire road, and then it immediately splits off. Whoa! Splits off, and again, fire road to the left, and tougher section to the right. Well, still haven't got to the fire road. It's right ahead of us. Another rutted spot right here, if I recall. Yep, there's some ruts there. Downhill, not too steep, but you will see Mark start to flex a bit there, and you will hear the Nada Rubicon groaning and stretching. That one is definitely tougher to go up than it is to come down, because it was a little steep and quite rutted. It's the fire road right on my immediate left. We're just going to go up this little hill on the right, which is slightly more difficult. The fire road is just down on my left, about 20 yards. And Mark is flying down. It's an easy little hill. Next hill, fire road to the left, offshoot to the right, and And we are back on the fire road, or about to get on the fire road. Mark just touched it. You see that electric, whatever it is on the left there, electrical equipment behind the fence. Just beyond that, that's your marker, the next tough spot, which is sometimes tough and sometimes not tough at all. It just depends. There's some rocks. It's a little steep going up. It's on the left. Fire road to the right. Tough spot to the left. Rocks, little ledges. Again, sometimes easy, sometimes not. You could go up either way. Mark's going up the left, that's where I'll go. Same way if you're coming down, that's the easiest way, although I've come down on the right. I don't think I've gone up on what is my right. Yeah, Mark's got that rock he's fighting with. It's moving. Ooh, so he just went right over it.
Like fun.
Now he is going up on the left. I'm too closer than I should be. I usually go up on the right because I always turtle going up on the left. Piece of cake. Not too bad going up on the right side.
Did you see how much air I got up there and going over that rock?
And coming back on the fire road. Almost through the trail. Quarter mile or so, and you've got this little hill, which is just a short little, slightly rutted hill. Pretty easy. I'm still in two-wheel drive, so let's see what happens. Little hill, right up and down, back on the fire road. You could go straight. It's just another little piece of fire road that just meets right back up. It's nothing there. So back on the fire road. Okay, now we're at the fun spot. So now we're getting into what I call Hell's Highway, which is the last long offshoot. This is the one, or one of the few, that once you make this turn, there's very little turning back, and as you get further in, you get into some spots where turning around is very difficult. There's some spots where once you get in, that's it, you are committed. So this is the turnoff right here. Fire road goes around and to the left, and what we call Hell's Highway, kind of straight ahead to the right. Okay, we are now starting up Hell's Highway. Couple spots to turn around once you go past this point, but the further up you go, the tougher it gets. Pretty rutted out, soft spot right here ahead. Okay, a little sideways, a little slippy, a little loose. I hope your dash cam was on.
Okay.
All right, immediately after that, there's another spot right here that's easier. Just stay to the right. It can be tough if it's wet, muddy or snowy, because you do not want to slide into that rut on the left. This is a spot where you need to decide if you stay to the right. It goes down a long, steep hill, which is not difficult. It's just long and steep. If you go straight or to the left, you go down Oh Shit Creek. So, and you'll see that the reason we call it that is because there's some extreme rutting. It's just a real tough spot, one of the toughest spots on the trail. It's not as bad if you're going down like we're doing, heading west to east. If you're coming up, we're doing Cleghorn backwards. Coming up this, you will get air. It is exciting and it is tough. So make sure that you make the right turn when you're at this spot. We see some deep ruts and we say, this isn't so bad. We've been through tougher ruts. At this point, backing out really would not be an option. I don't think you'd be able to back up over that little ledge that I just came down. Watch out for the bushes. So we're coming down and we're thinking this isn't so bad. And now I'm seeing it's got a lot of mud on it. Still no problem. Still not bad. That rut is probably a couple of feet deep. If you put your wheel in the middle of it, you would flop onto your side, most likely. Just right down the middle. And heck, we're almost done. We're thinking, well, this isn't so bad. And then you get here and you say, oh shit. Because what you see from here, and I know you can't see it on the video, is a big... This is the tough spot. We're going to go slightly to the left, and you're going to see, when I get out of your way, you're going to see a big rock in front of you, and it looks like just a drop off into like the chute. We're going to go around to the left. It's not so bad. It's not easy. It really does look worse than it is, but it looks bad. So if you heard that, we're just going to go around to the left.
Copy that.
If you come up this, it's much worse because you get in the air. But we just go around that big rock. We will get slippy and sideways and tilty. And you hear the Jeep bouncing around a little. Ooh, fully in the air. I could feel I wasn't touching one or two wheels. And that's it. That's the extent of Oh Shit Creek. It's not as bad as it looks, but when you first come up on it, if you're not expecting it, it's bad. And it is a little bad. I'm watching Dave totally flex out his Jeep behind me as I'm getting pinstriping on my left side. We are coming around that big hill now. Another rutted out section, but it's not too bad until right before you get to the bottom of the hill. Then it's kind of bad. Right here. Ooh, doesn't sound good. Kind of rough. I just kind of loaded through it, second gear. Could you hear a little bit of rubbing?
I know, I was up on three wheels teeter-tottering and I almost went over.
Oh, gee.
Oh, I saw you did it again.
Holy cow. Okay, so that section we just came through.
This is not a bad way to spend a Thursday afternoon.
That section we just came through at the bottom of the hill, going around the hill, has gotten really rutted and off camber, getting back onto this little road.
Hey, Andy, I remember going through there, and I don't remember going on two wheels like that before.
And as you can hear, it's gotten worse. Yeah, it's a little bit worse, probably because of the rain.
Yeah, that's my point, yeah.
I thought Mark was going to go over forward. That's how bad it was. He's got the 2-door. It was a little easier for the 4 doors. Whew! A little excitement for the day. All right, so we've got a kind of straight, easy section. And then 2 more rough spots. Then we're back to the fire road and down to Highway 138. All right, we're coming up on one of the last of the rough sections. There's a little ledge here that's pretty steep.
Taking 20 rigs through Cleghorn now.
We're back now in sight of Highway 138 and the lake. Got one more kind of rocky, rutted section. Oh! And what do we have here?
Okay, run up against the rock. Little driver, get this little driver. Little passenger. Go straight, straight. Going straight. Little driver. A little more. Now, passenger. More. Passenger coming down.
All right, so this section is tough enough.
Go straight. Down. Good.
Section is tough enough when there's not a freaking Toyota stuck in the middle of the trail. All right, right at the bottom of that section, we're basically through. Got this one downhill section that is not too bad, a little rutted, and then we've got a sharp hairpin turn to the right that, depending on what the rain has done to it, there's 2 ways to go, and then we're headed back to the highway. So this section is more rutted out after the rains. Not too bad, we've seen worse today. Whoa. Got in the air a little bit there. Tougher coming up than going down. There's Silverwood Lake in front of us, telling us that we are almost done. One more tough spot. And 2 ways down this, a sharp right or this along the left, and I don't want to get out of the Jeep, so I'm just going to stay along the left. The only problem is it's 10 feet straight down on the left if you misjudge, but it's not that bad today. Back to the fire road, and I lied, I thought that was the last spot. There is one more section, one more offshoot. A lot of people go right past it. This is the last offshoot, which is right around this curve. Really just looks like a notch down to nowhere. All right, last little section before the highway. This is totally blind going down. You cannot see over your hood. It drops down that much, but it's not all that much. Little bumpy, rutted section, just like everything else we've been through. And then it's highway all the way home. Dirt highway. And that's it. That is the end of Cleghorn. It's a decently maintained dirt road down to the lake, which is right ahead. So it's changed a little since I was up here last. The Toyota's in the middle of the trail at Hell's Highway toward the end, which is makes it real tough. I can't imagine trying to get up around that. It was tough getting down. A couple spots are a little more rutted out. The dirt road on the I-15 side is more rutted in some areas, so I wouldn't recommend trying to come up the dirt road in a streetcar. I used to say you could. Now I say I wouldn't try it till it's till they grade it again, whenever that may be. We're going to come out past the gate on Highway 138. There's a nice little spot where you can air back up on the trail side of 138. Or you can cross the street, cross 138, go left and cross, and right across there's a big paved parking lot, room for 50, 75 Jeeps there. That's where we usually go to air back up. Air up, head home, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope if you've never been up Cleghorn, this helps you decide if it's tough or not tough, or if you're afraid of it or not afraid of it. If you've got any questions, if I missed anything, if something didn't make sense, please leave a comment below.